Rich Campbell, Senior Systems Engineer at Cohesity. Rich, it's great to talk to you. We're talking a little bit before we turn the cameras on about the fact that you were part of this community on active duty. Now you're on the industry side. How do you think that helps you to communicate with the active duty folks about what their needs are and how you can serve them?
I think it's twofold. One, you come from the operational side, so you understand the mission, but when you're on the technology side of the house, you get to be able to take that technology and really explain it to the customer, help them understand how it impacts mission, how to make their mission better, and more importantly, how we could do a lot more with a lot less. So it's kind of threefold in how that works.
Yeah. What about the people piece of this? I mean, one of the things I've taken away from this show is how tight this community is and how much those personal relationships really matter.
So I'm one of the old guys in this, so I've been doing this for 28 plus years, and I'll tell you, when I came into it, it was a different world, right? So most of us had day jobs when we were active duty, right? We were operators, we did these things on a day-to-day basis. Getting into the tech side, now what I see, which is more interesting to me, is how do we get this second generation of guys that are coming out of this world into the tech sphere? Because this is how SOCOM grows. This is how the special ops community learns to do more, learns to be more efficient, be more effective, more lethal, right? Those are all key pieces. So it's great that we had the experience, some of the older guys like myself had the experience of coming up and doing this and have had an impact on the mission and how SOCOM runs their IT business today. But I think the next generation is, how do we help them and how do we get them into this? And for me personally, I think that's where we're going to see the evolution of technology with special forces when we see this next generation coming up.
So in order for that next generation to come out of SOCOM and come into industry, they're going to have to go to SOCOM first.
Absolutely.
And so this is kind of an endless cycle, and because there'll be a third generation to follow the next generation and so on. How do you answer some of those questions that you just posed rhetorically directly? How do you get those folks and let them know what the opportunities are that are available both on the industry side and the government side?
So that's a great question, and I think that's up to us, right? This community, this event, that does a lot of it, but more importantly, the local events, right? You get out to some of the TSOCs, some of the other locations with SOCOM, it's how do we really talk to our customers, right? So for me, for instance, being at Cohesity, one of the things I do is it's not just about buy our product, buy our technology. It's about connecting with the people that we work with, how to understand their mission, how to support it. And then as we're going through that sales process or solution process with them, it's building those relationships and developing that. So when those guys that are active duty today are ready to come to industry, they have people like us to look to and say, hey, you know what? These guys were amazing. They helped us. They helped our mission. They helped us be more successful. And I think it becomes kind of a dog-eat-dog world, right? Yeah. They see what we're doing. They want to follow in those footsteps. So I think it's up to us to be those leaders for the next generation.
You talked about how the trajectory has changed over the time since you came in to today. What do you think that looks like in another 10, 15, 20 years that the people that are coming into this community today should be preparing themselves for?
So I think that's a great question. I think technology has changed so much in the last 20 years that when I see this younger generation, they can leverage the technology faster than we ever could, right? It was great, but when I did this, we didn't have cell phones. Now these guys have cell phones. They have real, actionable intelligence live in the palm of their hands, right? My company helps provide some of that, right? That data mobility component. But more importantly, these younger generation are going to take that data and they're going to take that usable real-time information and use it to be more efficient and more effective at the mission. And that's really the end goal for special operations communities. How do we become more effective, more efficient, more lethal to get a better result?
What do you think the 2 or 3 most important things are that industry can do now and in the coming years to support that?
I think one, we have to support the community, right? We have to be willing to support them. We have to help them with science projects, right? So when they want to do something innovative, be there to assist them to do that. That's going to be piece number one. Piece number two is educate the guys while we're doing that process, right? That's going to be the next piece. And the third piece is support them. Sustainability and supportability is one of the most critical things we can do, and I think that's both people and process, right? So be it you're selling a product, you're working with people, you're supporting the people, those are the 3 things I think that are really going to help this next generation, help us move the technology forward for SOCOM.
Rich, great conversation. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.